What's up, Lubbock? Thank you for tuning in today. Another episode of Second Sessions, and today is November 4th, 2019. My name is Dan, and to my left, we have Michael. Steven is out today. He had some stuff come up, but we wanted to continue on anyways. And on that note, let me go and introduce our special guest. Today is Josh Faupel,
Yep.
and he is a local musician. I've checked out some of his stuff on YouTube, and he's very ambitious and takes things into his own hands, it seems like. So anyway, I just want to open up the floor to you, Josh. Just go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, again, as you said, I'm a Lubbock-based musician. I've been at it for a few years, mostly a studio-based musician as opposed to like live. But I do a lot of collaborations. So I collaborate with a lot of people around the world. One of my most frequent collaborators lives in the Netherlands, actually. And so I have music out. I'm releasing music next year, and that's about the most forthcoming stuff.
So, yeah. I mean, I think you're kind of downplaying a little bit. And the only reason I say that is because I've been on your YouTube channel. And you got like 50 videos on there. Okay. And you know, you have some followers on those, which are pretty cool. And I went and checked them out.
Okay.
And I just watching some of your videos, I already have some questions immediately that I wanted to get into. But you said you collaborate. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the collaborations started, I don't know where the exact starting point was, but it started with, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, with Linkin Park covers with the guy from the Netherlands. And we met on a karaoke app. It's called Sing by Smule. And it's literally just an app where you can like upload collaborations of like, well, we collaborated on Linkin Park songs. I sing Mike Shinoda's part, he sings Chester Bennington's part. And then one day I just asked him, I was like, hey, do you have a way to record? Do you want to see if we can do this? And our first try was Waiting for the End. It was really popular, and we just decided to keep making a go out of it. So once that happened, I joined a producer group, which is the next string of collaborations that I did. Didn't last very long, but I've been collaborating with people really ever since, and that was about 2-3 years ago, something like that. So
okay,
yeah,
I think it's so cool that you kind of took things in your own hands a little bit. I love studio work, you know.
Right.
We do live music, but like my passion is studio.
Yeah,
it's just so much fun, and you know, you get to really experiment and take your time sometimes if necessary, you know, and do some cool stuff.
Yeah, he straight nerds out when.
I get that.
We straight lose him for once he starts tinkering and stuff. He's in his own little world.
It's a whole nother beast, and you know, sometimes it can make or break musicians. You know, if you get in here and you're like, hey, there's no room for errors. You know, I mean, we can edit, but you know what I mean. It's like, you know, you can't just kind of blend in behind so and so on the stage and make, you know, and just roll with it. You're isolated. So I was looking at some of your videos, and that's some of the first questions I had. Like I noticed the Linkin Park ones. First off, I want to notice, or at least note, that the production is really good.
Yes, it is.
I was I didn't expect that when I saw you sent me that information. I was like, all right, let's go check it out. And I was like, this is really good. Like the production is great, and I want to talk about your methods.
Okay.
So like, how do you like do everything? You know, as far as your production.
Okay, so speaking specifically about the covers, there's a way we go about it, the collaborations. For the original stuff, the original stuff is all in the box for me. It's all at home. I do everything myself, really. Unless I'm releasing it, then I hire a mix engineer and a mastering engineer. But otherwise, the production, the instruments, except drums, are all me. For the collaborations, with the guy from the Netherlands. His name is Victor, by the way. Victor Whitcomb. He has a YouTube channel also. Shout out to him.
He's got a real killer voice too.
Yeah.
He
both
lights it up. Yeah. But so the way we go about it is we choose what we're going to do, whether it's an original, whether it's a cover. We decide what we're going to do. And then usually it's whoever knows the song better. So newer stuff, I might know better. Older stuff, and again, by Linkin Park, he might know better. And so he knows it on guitar. I know it on bass. It's just something I learned for some reason. And we're both reasonably good at programming drums. So we'll just pick a starting point. It's like, okay, so program drums, and then you send me a scratch track of the guitars. And then we just send back and forth until we have something that we like. And it could take anything from like 2 weeks to, honestly, we've had one that we worked on for like 5 months. The one we're working on right now is going on, I think, 3.
So do y'all do originals as well?
We have been working on originals. We don't have anything released for originals so far. Actually, I went to the Netherlands earlier February, and for the specific purpose of going over and working on originals.
You went over there?
Yeah.
Now that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Tell us what that was like.
It was insane. Like the weirdest part about the whole thing is, like, we met on the app. We met on a Sing app, a karaoke app, and we collaborated for, I think it was like almost a year and a half before I actually met this guy. Flew around the world, and he picked me up from the airport, and it was really like we were messaging back and forth in the airport trying to find each other, which is a mess on its own. And then when I found him, I just walked up and I was like, hey. And it's the weirdest thing because it's like it's as anticlimactic as I'm like as I'm saying it right now, because like I don't know what I was expecting, but like there wasn't fireworks, there wasn't like thunderous band like with like collaborators meeting for the first time.
The white doves flying in the back and all that.
I don't know, it sounds weird and maybe a little strange, but I mean, it was really just like guys who have been friends for like a year and a half, like saying hi, and it was as if we've known each other for a while.
Let's get to work,
Yeah,
that's why I'm.
So the thing that made this a bit different than just like a vacation is I went there. I knew a friend, and almost immediately we went to a place that he kind of works at. Things work a little differently over there with like public ownership and properties and stuff like that. So there's technically like a public bar, kind of. It's owned by the community, and he runs it. He helps run it. So we went there almost immediately. This is 6 a.m. over there. I've been up for 16 hours, and my Airbnb doesn't open. My guy's not going to be there until 3 p.m. So we have to kill time. I'm exhausted. He hasn't slept because he's an insomniac for 12 hours. So what do? We go pick up ingredients to make mojitos. I don't know why.
Sure.
We drink mojitos and we start working on our next project, which I don't remember what it was, but I mean, that's what we do. So
now, how long ago was that?
That was earlier this year. It had to have been February, March. So I think it was mid-March.
How cool is it to, start something from nothing and then find yourself in the Netherlands? Like,
man, it was crazy. Like if you would have told me this guy I was collaborating with on the app, because I have friends all over the world with this app. And as of now, I've met 2 of them, actually. So one I met in California 2 years ago. I'm actually flying to Spain to meet that same person come February.
Isn't it crazy how technology is a musician's friend?
Yes.
The way we network now, it's like there's no stopping you.
Absolutely insane.
And we can be a small town as Lubbock, but look what you're doing with that, and it just takes a little bit of investment with yourself, wherever you want to spend your money. But look, it works.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you couldn't have convinced me when I started on the app that I was going to end up releasing music, collaborations, like doing whatever I am doing. You couldn't have told me that at the beginning and had me believe you. There's no amount of things you couldn't have talked me into it, like believing it.
It's almost something you don't grasp or even think that's like an avenue. When you're just like, I know for me, I would never when I was younger. Of course, that wasn't around like apps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, just I want to be in a band, but I got to find dudes that are local. And which is what we've done.
Right.
But, but now you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And what's this app called again?
It's called Sing. It's just called Sing, but it's by a company called Smule. And it's like the logo's purple. It's really easy to find. They have a few apps.
Yeah, they got that one app that plays the piano.
Yeah. That's I think that's their most popular one or something like that. But yeah, it's just called Sing. It's a really cool app. It's a lot of fun. Even just like to go on and unwind and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's worked for you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Obviously you're traveling the world as a musician, which is I think a lot of us would strive for that.
Yeah.
Like Michael and I in our band, we went a few years ago to California. Right. Someone showed interest in us. We did a few shows. That was huge for us.
Yeah.
And that was still in the United States. But, to be able to have a reason to travel because you're writing music, that's cool. That's really cool. So I want to go back to the producing again.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you using your own software? What do you use?
I am my DAW is Logic Pro 10.
Okay.
And I record on a MacBook Pro into a Scarlett 2i4 using a Blue, oh man, what is the mic? Spark. It's a Spark by Blue.
Okay.
That's my recording equipment.
Which are good microphones and friendly on the budget.
Yes, yeah, that was the big thing. I had worked with Spark by Blue on the release of my EP, one of the acoustic versions of the songs that I have on it, and the mix engineer, he was like, I don't know what mic you use, because it was away from him, and he's I don't know what mic you used, but this sounds incredible. Buy that mic, and I did. I went later and I bought that's the mic I use now.
It's just what works, we can spend and blow the budget, but if we don't have to, let's not, and that's like we were talking about, but some of the investments that I've made was just something that was under $300 versus $3,000.
Oh, we've got a lot of Frankenstein stuff in here. I mean,
it doesn't matter as long as it works.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, don't break the bank if you don't have to.
If you don't have to, and it's been a long time. Even for what's in this room has been over 10 years of getting stuff together and then getting educated a little bit along the way to make your decisions on what you want to purchase.
Yeah.
But for a musician as yourself, I mean, it's great that you have an ability to afford something, put it together. How did you learn how to produce?
I YouTube is where I started. I started on YouTube.
You can do anything on YouTube.
Yes. So I started on YouTube, and I was at that for about like 6 months, and I learned a good bit just like watching YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. But then I actually did sign up, and I went to Full Sail University. So I actually have a degree in music production.
Oh, cool.
Full Sail? Is that the one that's down around Florida? Or
yes.
Is it?
So
wow.
I did that, but I did the online portion. So it's an accelerated program, and I did the online portion for 2 years. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot and stuff, but I mean, even through that, I still felt like along with the program, I was still learning a lot, just like from actively working. So like continuing to do the YouTube stuff and release music and all that. And I kept watching YouTube tutorials along with what I was actually learning in school and stuff. So
I do the same because I went to SBC and got a degree there, and it's like when you're going to school to learn what you want to do, it's not like school.
Yeah.
You have a good time, and outside of SBC, after I graduated, I was still learning stuff from YouTube, just as you did. You have a question, okay, just search it, and then through other producers I've worked with and other studios, they show me these tricks, and you gather up these little pearls, and the next thing you know, you're making some awesome mixes.
Yeah.
And like what I've heard that you've done, like I really wanted. I was like, because that's the first thing I was like,
sure.
Okay, this isn't like backdoor or garage stuff. This is like, even though it might be, it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
You could already tell he's going to start picking your brain.
Sure.
All right. Okay, but I don't want to make it all about your methods.
No, that's fine.
Sometimes we have secrets we want to keep that, right?
So at what point did you just wake up and go, this is what I want to do?
Okay, so I think when I started with school, or when I started learning how to do music production, I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted to record, and I started off by using like GarageBand into a system, just like some songs that I had been working on. And so I went to the computer, plugged in, and recorded some really bad stuff. Like the method and stuff, it wasn't, I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't articulated well. There wasn't really a whole lot going on musically. So I started watching YouTube. I started buying the right equipment because I was using a different interface. So I was using someone else's interface. So I decided I want to do this myself, do this at home. So I bought the right equipment, and I'm not advocating that you go out and buy equipment thinking that's going to solve any problems. I just needed the setup, basically. So I went out, I bought an interface. I spent like $25 on the intro version to Studio One, which is my preferred DAW, if I'm being honest. It's just Logic Pro 10 came with my laptop.
Oh.
And then I went from there. I started on YouTube. The starting points were Andrew Huang on YouTube, Recording Revolution by Graham Cochran. Really comprehensive YouTube tutorials that I just started. Watching those channels made me feel that I could do this. and it wasn't like, I don't know that there was any solid point that like, this is what I want to do. It's just when it started coming together, when I started getting better and better at it, I was like, I guess I started thinking, it's like, I can make this happen. I can do this. Yeah. So when things started sounding better, I guess, when I started getting a little better at things, when these channels started convincing me that I could do this.
Yeah, it's like, because, we want the end result of a song that we hear on the radio immediately. And it's a process. You have to get there. It's not like as soon as you record, it's gold.
Yeah.
No, it takes some process. But so you collaborate with Victor out of the Netherlands. You said you're going to Spain. So how many people are you collaborating with?
At any given time, I'm likely collaborating with at least 3 people.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm working on one right now where I'm just doing vocals, and I'm on a songwriting hub or like a portal where it's just like it's almost like a forum, but like a little more updated kind of thing, where like they have like a specific purpose of like collaborating with people and that kind of thing, showing your music, collaborating. And there was one guy who was just looking for a vocalist, and we ended up working out to collaborate. So I'm working on that project. I'm always working with Victor at one point or another. And then I'm working on another guy or 2 other US-based musicians. So currently I have 4 collaborations going.
At this moment? So do you ever collaborate with anyone here in Lubbock?
I don't want to say no, but no, not currently, but my mix engineer, and I think he's my producer mix engineer, he is the guitarist of Astringency.
Okay, yeah.
And he's, I'll be working with him when he finishes the album. When Astringency finishes their album, I'll be working with them.
And their name's been dropped in here by other guests we've had. Yeah. So they've been around Lubbock for a little bit. Yeah, they're real heavy.
Yeah.
We had T with Titans in here.
Okay.
And John. Yeah, I was like, not Mark. John was telling us about it. And he loves those guys.
Yeah, they're and Aaron, the guy I'm talking about, the guitarist. They have 2 guitarists, but Aaron's a good friend of mine. He's a phenomenal musician, and when I had the opportunity to work with him, I absolutely jumped on it. Like I was just gonna, I can't even remember how the process started. I think I just wanted him to like mix 1 or 2 of my songs, and then he offered, "Is like, you just want to do the whole project with me?" And I was like, "Absolutely,
for sure,
I would love to."
So, so when you're doing all this, I mean, you have like goals, but or people you're working with. Yep. But what are your future goals? What would you like to be doing?
I'd love to be able to do music full time. I'd love to make that. I'd love to be able to have my music be my primary source of income, and that's probably the goal. If I'm being like in a dream world, I'm not saying it's not realistic, but like in a dream world, in a dreamscape, having my music as my primary source of income, that would be the goal.
So, okay, so you do mostly studio stuff. Now, would this stuff become live?
It could. I've been in live bands before. We've performed, bands I've been in have performed my original material and stuff. And Aaron and I have sort of talked about that, like when we finish my album, finding a way to get it, to make it, finding a way to perform it live and stuff. So I would like to. It's just I think even why I started being primarily a studio-based musician is my most recent projects have fallen by the wayside for reasons or others, and then having to keep switching bands and having to keep finding members and learn new material and stuff. It's just it's taxing.
Yeah, it can be pretty monotonous to find that right mixture and then keep it going.
Yeah, and then and when everything falls apart, it's either like the music goes with you or it doesn't. So it's almost like you're starting all over again. But in a studio, that's not the case. It's like when you have something recorded, well, it's recorded.
There it is.
You know, so it's. I think that's why I started on that path in the first place.
So how would it work for you then? And what I'm asking is because if you're doing a lot of studio stuff and the way things are now, people don't even have to buy music anymore. So how would it become a financial setup?
I think the way that I would want it, it would have to work actually realistically is like, yes, I'm making some money off of like my music being purchased, streams, whatever. But the way it would likely happen is I think even it could work maybe on the merit of collaborations where like I could be hired as a studio musician. So like I'm a pretty decent guitarist, And I'd like to think I'm a pretty good vocalist. So
it is, from what I've heard, it's great.
Thanks.
And I would love to be a studio musician too. Yeah. Like, with addition to everything else that we do, just to be able to like collaborate and record and get paid for that.
Yeah,
absolutely. That'd be really cool. Especially if you can do it, touring, or not really touring, but traveling like you've done. I mean, that'd be really cool. And check out some new studios.
That'd be a lot of fun.
And, have all this experience underneath your belt. Next thing you know, you got a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Which would be really cool.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Now, you are yourself, I know you said Victor Linkin Park. Now, do you find yourself as much of a fan as him, or
no? Because there are very few people who are as big of a fan of Linkin Park as Victor is. Okay. Like, I'll just say that I am a fan of Linkin Park. Linkin Park was probably Linkin Park, I will say, was the band who got me into rock music. With it was the very first, I think, rock music video I'd ever saw, with Crawling. I got into
very good video, by the way.
Yeah, still kind of holds up, the video itself. So they got me into rock music. Mike Shinoda currently is still one of my favorite producers of all time. He just released a song called Fine for like a Russian movie that's coming out, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I've got a ton of Mike Shinoda stuff. That dude's got a mind.
Yeah, man. He does. The way he works is like on a different level, and I like. Anyway, absolutely goals. But so Linkin Park was my first favorite band, I guess. And I sort of fell off after they had an album, Minutes to Midnight. Not that I didn't like that album, but I just stopped following them heavily after that.
They went a total different route.
Yeah, they did.
That. Yeah.
And I sort of got back into them after an album called Living Things, and my fandom's been about pretty solid since then.
I remember the first time.
I really did enjoy the first song y'all did, that Waiting in the End. I really loved that song.
Yeah, and that was the one. Yeah, you said that was the first one I think that was the first one. Like Victor and I, like really, that was the one that convinced us to keep doing this. Because if it wasn't as successful as it was, we may have kept doing it for fun. But that one's the reason we keep doing it, is because it was fun and people liked seeing it. So. Yeah.
And okay, so I wanted to play a little clip.
Yeah, sure.
If that's cool.
Yeah,
all right.
That's fine.
So I won't like play an entire song, but I want people to, because they haven't heard of you, or at least we know what we're talking about. Like, let's give them a chance to hear it. So I just pulled one of them up.
Cool. Clippy time.
Paper cuts. Or paper cut.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
It's another good song.
Stress me first, or how the brush was fed. But I don't trust what it feels like to a voice in the back of my head. It's like a race in a hole in. Facing away till I close my face. It works every time I face it last every time I fall. So you know now when it's time to sink or swim, that the face inside is hearing me, right underneath my skin. It's like a paranoid looking over my back. It's like a whirlwind inside of my head. It's like I can't stop what I'm hearing within. It's like the face inside. It's right. Facing me, pointing all mistakes to me. You got a face in the inside too. Your paranoia is probably worse. I don't know what set me up first, but I know what I can't stand. Everybody acts the facts that matter as I can, add up to what you can. But everybody has a place they hold in. Face that wakes me close in. Face it once every time they face it last every time they fall. So you know now when it's time to sink or swim, that the face inside is watching you too. Right underneath your skin.
Okay, I could have keep going.
Man, he kills those dadgum screams in there, man.
He almost sounds like Chester.
Yes,
right there.
it is incredible how similar he sounds. Yeah.
So here, like people listening or watching can't see what I'm looking at, but right now I have it pulled up on your YouTube channel, and I'm looking at it now. There's 3 of you guys in this video, and what I like about y'all's videos is I like this kind of stuff where it's like it's the video recording of you performing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's now. Okay, so I guess my first question here is, like, you got 2 other. It looks like Victor right here, who you're talking about, and there's a third guy on the
That's still Victor, actually. Victor does. Well, we both do, but Victor likes recording his hard pans of left and right.
Okay.
I do hard pans left and right, but I only record one take of it. So when there's two of them, they're both Victor. Yeah.
Okay, because like it got him, and you play guitar.
I do.
But here you're just singing.
Yeah. On that song, I didn't play.
Okay, so now. What's really cool about it is, well, one, it sounds great.
Yeah.
And now that's him doing guitar.
Yes.
Y'all are both doing vocals.
Yes.
Now who's doing the bass?
I played bass on that one, and I programmed drums for that.
And programmed drums. Yeah. And is there any other instrumentation I'm leaving out?
There's some electronics on it that Victor programmed.
Okay, and then did that background.
Yeah.
That you know, that, I don't know if they'd call it like a melody or what it is, or harmonic, but
right.
But anyways, it sounds really good. And this is what I was like, all right, let me check out some more of these. And you could just pick one out. It doesn't matter. They all sound really cool. Yeah. But I just want to say, that's awesome work. All right.
Thank you.
Really good stuff. And this is the stuff that y'all do that you send off, someone else, engineers it or, mixes it.
Actually, so that's for stuff that I release. But actually, for mixing, and we both master, but for mixing, Victor does all of the mixing for those.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's done a fantastic job.
Sick job.
That's
all right.
cool.
So y'all just got done with Waiting in the End.
Yes.
All right. You got the finished product.
Yes.
You're fixing to put it out there.
Yep.
What were you feeling right when you click that button? Here we go.
I was not expecting, honestly, anything. Was going through my head is like, we finished this. Like we finished it. I was surprised at how good it sounded because I mean, not that I didn't expect it to sound good, but when the finished product came out, well, one, I had never heard Victor mix anything before, so that was my first instance of it. And the way like our voices line up or like sound together, the way we harmonize sounds really good. And we have some people who like the way we sound together from the app, but like, I mean, I don't expect it to translate to YouTube at all. But as of right now, I think it's at least my most viewed video. I don't know. I doubt it's his, but it's one of my most viewed videos.
So when y'all were like recording the video, are y'all in the same? Are y'all together? Is this all separate?
No, it's all separate. So the only video that we recorded together was I think it was Lost in the Echo because I was in the Netherlands when we recorded.
So
that
y'all
one.
are straight sending footage and stuff to each other, piecing that. Man, that's
everything.
Right?
Waves,
crazy.
Waves, MP4s, everything. We're
are y'all emailing this stuff or Dropbox?
For files. Oh, we have a shared Google Drive.
Okay, and that makes it real simple. So on the video work, who's doing that?
I record my stuff. He records his stuff, and then he puts it together.
So he does.
He does a lot. Yeah, he does a lot.
But the two of y'all come together, and make it a possible thing.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Kudos
Victor,
to you, man.
You're a badass.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tell Victor about this because we'd like
Victor.
to, let him know that good job, bro.
Absolutely.
Good job, man.
I mean, straight up, toot your horn, man. Y'all did an excellent job on this stuff. It's really cool.
So, okay, let's see here. I was trying to. Okay, so now since you started, how long have you been doing this now?
Well, what specifically?
I guess just really maybe collaborating as well as picking up the guitar and playing.
So picking up, so guitar I've been at the longest. It's probably been, I don't know, over 10 years, I think, like 9 to 11 years, somewhere in between there. Collaborating was the most recent thing, and I think collaborating is probably the majority of what I do. That was just 2 or 3 years ago. Victor was my first collaboration.
Okay. And y'all still work together, like you said, and y'all still doing stuff. And that's really awesome, especially if y'all get some like original stuff. We would love to hear that, and hear what's going on with all that.
Yeah.
So maybe you can announce a date, or is it too soon?
Maybe. Okay, so I don't know that this is for sure, but I have a project that I have written and produced, but the vocals were going absolutely nowhere with me. So like I shipped out the top line to another vocalist that I've worked with before. So I was like, look, if you want to go at this, have at it. Well, he recently told me that it's been a little taxing for him because like he's gotten some parts going, but he doesn't know if he'll be able to finalize it. Well, if that falls through, if I'm able to finish writing it, I think I'm going to have Victor just sing the song. So like, I'll give him the opportunity to finish writing it, but at the very least, I'd like to have him sing on it.
Okay.
Sing the song. And if that is the case, it'll be out this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before 2020.
Yeah, before 2020.
Oh, so around the corner.
Yeah, it is just one song, but
yes. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, that's the start, and I'm sure there'll be more.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to get that one. It's like the teaser.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what's coming. You know?
Sure.
And when we do stuff, because we'll record out of here, and we want to like immediately get to that first song. We like want to throw it out there. Like we're so excited, but sometimes you're like, all right, let's hold on, because if it takes another year to get another
that's a good point. Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, we don't want them to forget.
Yeah.
You just want to throw it in there. Hey, just check it out. Listen, here it all is. But you know, sometimes, like you said, we got other things going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to.
Yeah, momentum's important. You know, I don't think it's something that it's more important than I think it ever has been. You know, because like we don't follow bands like we did 20 years ago.
Exactly.
So keeping the bands on the forefront.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, if it takes a year.
And it's a different way, because the way music is so accessible now. You don't, you can just YouTube. Everyone's leasing, or other platforms, but there it is, and then we want to move on to the next thing sometimes. It's easy to be like, oh, wait, that album's not released yet? Well, I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay. I wanted to ask you this question.
Sure.
Sorry, I was looking at my board here and I kind of got lost.
Yeah.
All right. But I wanted to say, like, okay, so how long have you lived in Lubbock now?
About 2 or 3 years, actually. So
Okay.
Lubbock was, I remember actually finishing the vocals for Waiting for the End before I had absolutely any furniture in my apartment. I had just finished moving in, and I was finishing the vocals for Waiting for the End with my collaboration with Victor.
Where were you before Lubbock?
I was in Plainview. I lived in Plainview for a few months, and then El Paso before that.
So you've been in Texas all your life?
Yeah.
So why Lubbock now?
I really like the West Texas area. So I went to school at Hyland. I lived there for a better part of 5 years, something like that. And I went back to El Paso, and I was there for a job. It was a seasonal job. It was a set 2 years thing. So when that finished up, I had absolutely no plans after that. So I was like, well, I like the area. So I tried Plainview, and Plainview, I kind of felt like Plainview and I had run our course. So I moved to Lubbock, and it's worked out for me.
We have some friends that are musicians out there. Have you heard of Fluid Frequency?
Yes.
Yeah, they're buddies of ours. Now, I think they all aren't in Lubbock, Plainview anymore.
Right.
I think some have moved, but anyways, those are good buddies of ours, and they'd always travel, the 45-minute drive to play their set, and then they would have to leave, because they got jobs. And they can't stay out late and party and stuff. but yeah, we and now they're David, he's with All Falls Down. I don't know if you're familiar with some of these bands. You said 2 or 3 years you've been here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you get out and catch the local shows and stuff?
Yeah. So the most recent one I went to was the Astringency show. Was not this past Friday, but a couple weeks ago, I think.
I assume maybe Jake's.
Yes.
That's where most of the venues are for, at least the heavier stuff these days, since a lot of things have closed down. But that's a great, because this is how I went around the question.
Sure.
Off to you.
Okay.
So being here for this while now, what is your view on our local scene here in Lubbock?
It's present. I like that. Like El Paso has a music scene, but it's weird how small it is for how big the city is. Lubbock actually seems like it's really present for the size of the city. Like I really can't explain it, but there was one show like this, or there was like a couple shows like this in El Paso, and one fell through, one went away, and it leaves very little in the way of like collaborating and like networking and that kind of thing. And you kind of have to be really forthcoming with it all in El Paso. And that's not to dog on El Paso at all, because it is what is there is very alive. But Lubbock, like I saw that in troves. I was immediately invited, I think, by a friend of mine to the Lubbock Musicians Facebook page, and that's live pretty much every day.
Yeah,
and
people post all the time.
Yeah. And, you do go out to a show and you see people you've never seen before. You see bands you've never seen before. And like you see, like you show up and like there's a friend that you've known for a bit there that you haven't seen in a while. It's like, hey, and it's sort of like a different way of networking that is really interesting. I say surprising, I guess, for the size of Lubbock, because I guess just because of where I came from.
Well, and one thing that's good about a little gym Lubbock has, it's not really big, it's not too small, but you can run into people, meet people. Like you can definitely find someone you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been around and networked enough, you can run into these places and be like, oh, what's up? And, and maybe meet some connections through all that. And we've been doing it. We haven't gigged in a while.
Yeah.
The reason, because we originally were like, hey, we didn't want to lose momentum on writing.
Sure.
Our problem is writing,
right?
And not in the bad way. We write too much,
right? Okay.
And not to like toot our horn by saying that, but what we'll do a lot of time is we'll get in here, we'll practice, and it's not uncommon to write a song, and it starts stacking and stacking and stacking, and next thing you know, we're like, okay, we've got to stay focused, and then we want to record, so we like select our music. This is what we want to record for the album, and then we write a new song, and we're like, okay, what's getting the bump now?
Right.
Then, what would happen is during this process, we would get show offers, and we were like, okay, let's focus on a show. Let's get a set list and practice a set list, and then we would lose momentum on the writing side.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's always, so we said, hey, let's take a chill, let's break, and we break for a while, honestly, longer than we'd like to admit. Right. I think it's been a year.
Yeah. I'm chomping at the bit because I love being on the stage.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's a different animal, like being on stage and stuff. I get it. I get the energy and stuff. But I do get the whole. It takes, you lose momentum on writing. I get that.
I just feel bad for Michael because he loves being on stage more than any of the writing or I don't know.
I do love the writing process.
Yeah, I believe that.
Creating something that's coming from you, and you've done it with people close to you. There's just a really cool high you get with creating something that you love, but getting on stage and throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I love that feeling.
Yeah.
By any chance, did you go to there's a show, I think it was October 26th at Jake's. It was a Halloween show, and Tia for Titans was throwing it. The only reason we asked, because we were actually planning on, Second Sessions was planning on being there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We wanted to do a recording, a podcast, on site.
Okay.
And then it just didn't happen in the end. We were so bummed. And I was going to say, if you'd been there, tell me what that show was like. So I saw pictures, and it looked really epic. Like, these people were dressed up.
I don't know that I was. I think, or it may have been, because that sounds familiar, but I think it was like a 2-day show or something like that. There was a Friday or Saturday thing going on at Jake's.
I did not realize it was 2.
I don't know. Well, I don't know that they were connected, like a festival kind of thing. I
don't know if they were, but I think there was 2 shows back to back.
Yeah, so like Astringency played on Friday. I was there Friday. I think there was a show there Saturday also, though, which may be what you were talking about.
I think that would have been the 26th.
Maybe that's what it was.
Because I ended up having to work that Saturday, and it kind of screwed us.
Yeah, so it just didn't work out. And we still want to do that. I think because the whole idea of the show that we do, for the podcast, is really get people like you and bands to get out there, with a Lubbock medium. I don't really know how to describe it. Because
that's the funny thing. This place is brimming with just tons of really good musicians, and nobody's talking about it.
Right.
And that's the other thing too. Like, and also people that are fresh to the scene and they want to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe we can provide that. And saying stuff like, hey, that Facebook page for the local Lubbock scene, things like this. This is how you find out. But we really wanted to take we've always wanted to be involved more than just a band. And eventually this just kind of happened. We talked about it forever, and here we are. And we think it's really cool because we get to meet people that we haven't met, like yourself. And
Thanks.
I think it's really cool to meet someone that travels as a studio musician. That's super cool. I'm still impressed by all means. Like,
thanks.
There's something just really cool about meeting badass artists that are just right outside the door.
Yeah.
So
I do think this what you're doing here is really cool also. So I don't want to just let that get out the door. Yeah.
I do appreciate it, because we still are, like I said, we're new. We don't have a whole lot of episodes yet, but we're just trying to really develop it, and hopefully, it can be something and show up to a live show and people and have anyone sit down.
Yeah.
It's at the show. Hey, even if they're not a musician, talk and tell us what you like about the scene.
Right.
Who are you here to see? And really kind of help give these bands some exposure.
Exactly.
And through something that didn't cost them anything.
Right.
Anyways. Okay, so I did have a wrap-up question for you.
Okay.
And it's okay. It's kind of more designed to get you to think.
Okay.
All right. So being where you are now, if you went back in time and gave advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Okay, so that would depend on how far back, and if we're speaking specifically about music. But okay, so I make a lot of dumb decisions, and if I'll stick with music. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So if I had to go back, I'd say YouTube is at any point in time, really. Or I would have told myself at the start of college, where YouTube, I guess, was sort of like really starting to become a thing. I was on YouTube and I uploaded like 2 videos, and that was it. I think I would have told myself, like, try this YouTube thing, like learn from this YouTube thing, but also like try doing this thing, you know, because like I think at that point I would have learned a lot from the people that were already on it, who were already doing YouTube, and people are making a lot of money on YouTube now.
Yeah, they are.
And I think that if I would have started on it 10 years ago, I don't know that I would have made it, but you know, I don't know that I wouldn't have. So, yeah.
But you know, it's a great source.
Yeah.
For people to learn anything.
Oh, it sure did turn into a monster. Because it used to just be a place I'd go to watch people do just jackass stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's blown up into this. Now you can make a living.
Start that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take this question a little further. What kind of advice would you give anyone, not necessarily just in the Lubbock scene, but what advice would you give someone else that is trying to...
Yeah, like an up-and-comer that's trying to get into what you're doing.
I'd say have something of value, and that's not so someone can take advantage of that, but that's so that you have something to offer someone. So I don't think necessarily I'm the best at really anything, but I do consider myself a pretty good musician, and I consider myself a pretty good songwriter, producer kind of thing. So I think that's why collaboration has benefited me, because it hasn't always been me seeking collaborations. People have approached me about collaborations also. So if you're trying to get your name out, it's not even just about like songwriting collaborations. Like be open and be humble to help. When people offering help to people, whatever you let's just take the equipment for example. It's like someone is maybe more prominent in the scene but isn't getting the best out of their equipment, and you know the equipment, have at it, you know, like offer a helping hand. I just don't think that you can do this alone. You know, I don't think that you can just start writing your music, even if you mix it and master it yourself and then just like release it. Like if you haven't learned anybody else's name, I think you're doing things wrong.
And they can help,
you know,
drop your name.
Yeah,
you know, hey,
absolutely.
my friend just released this. You know, that helps too.
Yeah.
And just be a good person, everybody. Just be a nice person out there.
Yeah.
I think, you know, people can really be a lot more patient.
Yeah.
If you're just a good person.
I think that, yes, absolutely. Be a good person. At the very least, don't be an asshole. You know, like if you're not going to be good to people, at the very least, don't be an asshole.
Great advice, actually. You know, maybe someone would like to work with you again.
Yeah.
You know, if the experience went well.
There's absolutely nothing that kills a vibe faster, and there's absolutely nothing that destroys a relationship faster than being difficult to work with, being egotistical, and you know, just not wanting to have anything to do with other people.
Right.
You know, so I saw this in a video recently. Things aren't like they were in the 80s, you know, like you could destroy hotel rooms and that, and there was the rock star mentality. That's not a thing anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And there's too many people out there now, like as far as musicians, they'll find someone else.
Yeah.
It didn't go well, next.
Yeah, there's always the next thing. Always.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And for people, like you said, like what you're doing, you know, you can produce on your own. You don't have to have thousands and millions to go into a studio and become that jerk off guy
absolutely.
that's ruining a hotel room.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of people out there that are very humble.
Oh, sorry. I know this is like, but adding to, so if you're up and coming, your gear won't solve the problem. Like if your songs aren't where they want to be, as long as you have the basic setup, you can set up a studio for less than $300. Maybe you shouldn't, but I mean, you can. And buying a $1,000 microphone is not going to solve the problem. Buying, you know, like, it's like that kind of stuff isn't going to solve your problem. The issue is just learn what you're doing, you know, like
that is us. We are the bargain basement.
Yeah, we definitely know a thing about that. You know?
Hey, but you can find some gems in that bargain basement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So you have your Facebook channel, YouTube channel.
I do, yes.
So tell us what that is.
So it is j.m.faupel. It's JM Faupel Music on YouTube. I do a lot of collaborations there. Again, as we mentioned with Victor, I am doing a series now, a songwriting practice that's open to the public. That there's always it just gives people the opportunity to practice top line leads. Solos, whatever. I'll post a snippet of a song, and it's a little more nuanced than I think just like chord changes and that kind of thing. But it's just a practice thing that I've started doing and uploading on YouTube and stuff.
Okay, so everyone that's make sure you go on there and subscribe, get the latest. Is there any other sites that you'd like to mention?
If anybody wants to support my music, I do have music released. I have an EP out called Still Breathing. It is on Spotify, YouTube. It is on any streaming platform, iTunes, whatever. I do have my Facebook, which is JM Faupel. I'm on just about every social media. But if you do want to support me on a more regular basis, I do have a Patreon. Patreon is a sort of crowdfund, but it's a way to support creators like myself for as little as $1 a month. And it gives you access to a bunch of cool things depending on the creator. But for myself, it gives you access to the entire back catalog of the songwriting practices, as well as my album, and all future releases as well.
Well, then tell us what they would get if they were supporting you. You said a little extra. What would they get?
So Patreon is as little as $1, and for as little as $1, you get access to the wave recordings of my Still Breathing album. So that's the highest quality recording you can get. So if you download off of iTunes, if you're streaming on Spotify, those are not the highest quality. That's not the highest quality file. Mostly they're compressed MP3s and such. I give you the waves of my Still Breathing album. I give you the waves to The Smiles You'll Never See Again, which is another two-song thing that I did. It gives you the back catalog of the songwriting practices that I put up, and I'll continue adjusting it from there. But that's the $1. I also have a $3 and a $5, which gives you access to commentary on songs, sneak peeks at stuff I'm gonna be releasing and other stuff like that. So.
Oh, cool, man. Mm-hmm. Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming out and being a part of our show.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
It has been fun, and I really enjoyed hearing about what you do. I had no idea. We like to not know too much.
Sure.
So it makes it a good topic to talk about. But awesome, man. Anyways, we want to say thank you again for being a part of our show. Good luck to everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep us updated. Don't be shy. Send us a message, and we'll check out your stuff, man.
Yeah. And no pressure, but if you guys ever like to have me back, I'd love to come back on.
Absolutely,
honestly.
dude, for sure. Absolutely. We might, we are definitely open up to have return guests because, especially if you have something else coming out, we can, support that for you and get that out there. At least help.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. So anyways, thanks again, everyone who's listening. This is Second Session signing